home from working a long 9 to 5. Hope you're having a great one as we bring to you another Bodyslam post show. Uh, and it's gonna be a massive one. The AEW All Out was this afternoon, followed up with WWE Wrestlepalooza. I'm your host, Rami. Who else for Rami? I'm joined today, of course, by my forever co-host, Max, over here, and of course, everyone's favorite source, Corey Hayes. How's it going, my friends?
You go, Corey.
Good. Going good.
Yeah, doing good.
Good. Great day of wrestling today. I had a lot of fun.
Yourself, Max?
Yeah, me too. Long day, but definitely not a bad way to spend a Saturday than watching wrestling for 8 hours.
8 hours of professional wrestling. Woke up, automatically knew that this was going to be a very, very long day, but it was perfect. From start to finish, of course, what we saw AEW All Out put out in Toronto, Ontario at the Scotiabank Arena, from start to finish, from the tailgate all the way to the main event, it was some great action. WWE, it was certainly a WrestlePalooza. We have some, new futures. We have some new, champions that got crowned, new futures that got opened up, and a lot of doors going back to. We'll get into that all in quite a moment. Of course, we're gonna start off with AEW All Out, and because of course that was the very first show of the day. We had so much action coming from that all. From of course. Tony Storm defending her women's championship in a four-way, Hangman Adam Page being in a headline against Kyle Fletcher, John Moxley against Darby Allin in a coffin match. There was a lot that happened, and there's a lot to get into. Of course, I'm opening up my page here to be able to get us to Wikipedia because, of course, this all got thrown together, and this is a mega show, so we might as well like have it all be just a complete clusterfuck. But of course, we kicked off AEW's pre-show tailgate, which you could have watched on TBS or you could have watched on what do you call that? HBO Max as well. I do not know what happened to our, of course, a friend, a good boy. But we're gonna go with two right now, just for the
Yeah.
time being. But of course, we started it off with the Ops, Samoa Joe, and Powerhouse Hobbs, not defending the championships of the Trios Gold, but we did see them go against the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake, which was a very quick match and whatnot. I honestly enjoy just to get the crowd off the feet, just get everybody anticipated. Samoa Joe, man, like no matter what, you put him in a main event or you put him in a pre-show opener, you're gonna have a lot of fun with him. Powerhouse Hobbs was giving scoop slams galore to Anthony Henry. I thought there was gonna be no end for him. I thought it was gonna be just
Yeah.
a whole cycle of just body slams. Um, Hold on, we got I think Corey back in here. Let's go back to the. Is he back in? All right, we're good. But of course, we got just a bunch of scoop slams, of course, from Powerhouse Hobbs, and then of course Samoa Joe got his action in, and it's been so fun seeing Samoa Joe as of late because not only are we all just big fans of him, but if you have watched season two or even season one of Twisted Metal, he has such a distinct character on there, Sweet Tooth, everyone's favorite character of all time in the whole Twisted Metal franchise, and for him to be going from this role to, of course, back into the ring. He's as scary as it is. Whether it's Sweet Tooth or it's Samoa Joe, they're gonna kill you. And of course, I thought it was just a good opener. There's really not much to mention except for, hey, it got the crowd off their feet. Huh?
Yeah,
What about?
I enjoyed this. I thought it was a perfectly fine pre-show match. I'm a big fan of JD Drake. For a guy that size, he does a lot of unbelievable things. Like when I was at the residency here in Philadelphia, he had this huge moonsault in a match with FTR, and the whole crowd kind of lost it. So happy to see him and Anthony Henry get some TV time. But yeah, this was just a way to get Joe and Hobbs a win while they weren't defending the titles. It was just a good way to get them on the show, wake people up on an early afternoon.
On an early afternoon, indeed. And of course, we moved on from that. It was just a very quick, way to get, of course, everybody pumped up. And then we had Hologram and, of course, Paragon, which was, of course, Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy Strong defeating the Frat House in a very quick 3-minute match. My best friend, Dawson, he messaged me when, hold on a minute, we got Corey back in here. Hell yeah.
brother.
But all good, all good.
Yeah,
It happens, man. Whenever it comes to a computer or a laptop with StreamYard, that shit just fucking lags
That's why
galore.
I grabbed my phone. I said, "Fuck it, I'm
That's
just getting my
why
phone."
I'm on my phone as well. Like I have to always just be on my phone, it seems, because StreamYard is just a bitch. All the
Terrible.
respect to the people behind it. But no, like, and then we have our next match, of course, just a very quick, of course, scoop slam, kicks galore, having some fun, just beating up the frat house. Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, and Preston Vance, of course, getting their asses whooped all over by the Paragon and Hologram, which is still, of course, showing off signs like, can Roddy trust Hologram? Does Roddy even want to trust anybody at all with the whole Kyle O'Reilly situation? He's so controlling. I can understand in some ways, but you can't go full controlling the way that he has. He already lost Adam Cole. He lost Bobby Fish in the Little Caesar sponsorship. He does not want to lose Kyle O'Reilly. I feel like it's just a lot of stuff that Roddy Strong is going through. But despite it being just a very quick, win, of course, do you see anything else happening with the Paragon and, of course, Hologram going into the next upcoming episode? Max, thanks to you.
We'll
Oh,
see.
I think there's definitely some tension there. It didn't look like he was too happy later in the night when it looks like OC is coming back for the tag match on Wednesday. So I like that there's tension between Roddy and O'Reilly. I don't know if it's going to mean much major long term, but for now, thanks Blackhawk, appreciate that. But yeah, I think it's nothing like major long term. I think in the present, it's just a fun drama between O'Reilly and Strong.
Indeed, indeed, and but it's I just love that it keeps just going week by week. We're just seeing so much tension from Roddy Strong, of course. Corey, do you think that we're gonna see an explosion from Roddy Strong in the near future, or do you think he's just gonna work his way around this and just deal with it, just deal with
I
Hologram
think
being in the situation?
I think there's no conglomeration. I think that Roddy is gonna snap because Adam Cole's not around, so there's no like person to keep him in check. And him and Kyle O'Reilly are good friends, but Kyle O'Reilly is also friends with everybody else in the conglomeration. So it's like I think Roger Strong feels a little jealous that he's not the only person that Kyle O'Reilly is dealing with. So I think over the weeks we're gonna see something end up happening. I don't think he's gonna end up buying into the conglomeration. And I think that Paragon they're gonna end up splitting. I think something's gonna end up happening.
For sure, and it's just everyone doesn't know who to trust in All Elite Wrestling. It's like there's friends, and then there's people who are best friends, but still there's always tension that's lying around everywhere. Our next match, to end off the tailgate, was a 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl between Holly Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanada, and Willow Nightingale against the unit of Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. These women kicked ass. They had all beautiful spots to be able to show off just the extreme levels they keep showing off. And it makes you think to yourself, yeah, we got a tailgate brawl. Yeah, we got like these hardcore matches. Yeah, we get these street fights. I'm waiting for that blood and guts match between all these women. It's finally time that we say once and for all that the women have kicked so much ass. There's so much bad blood between everybody. You can't keep settling it all over the place. Get them all in there with some steel surrounding those walls, and let's get some asses whooped, and let's see a finale. Whether it's the heels picking up the win, and we're seeing Megan Bain going to fight for a world championship or for something else, or we could see probably in the of course future Willow Nightingale getting a world championship match, especially with the things that we saw turn around. Corey, I'm going to start with you. What were your thoughts on this tornado tailgate brawl between the 8 women?
It's a revolving door when it comes to the women's division. It's like the same thing every single week. However, this was very good. This one was they beat the living shit out of each other. Megan Bain continues to prove how much of a powerhouse she is. Willow Nightingale is outstanding. All 8 women were very good. You mentioned that you're waiting for a blood and guts match. I don't know if we're gonna get a blood and guts match with the women. Tony Khan, I guess there's an announcement coming Wednesday on Dynamite this week with all these different teams that we have in the women's division, I think we might be finally getting the women's tag team championships in AEW. Uh, but overall, the Tornado 8-woman tailgate brawl was fantastic to close out the 1 hour special.
Of course, Corey. Sorry, Max, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys say. Also, I just think Queen Aminata has just done such amazing work this year, and I think she's someone as well who I think everyone talks about Willow, and rightfully so, needing a push. I think this Aminata Tekla feud really did a lot for her. I think she can be another person who could be in the mix to maybe win a TBS title in the very near future. So, but I thought this was a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And of course, a lot of women in that match should definitely be in line for championship matches in the future. Of
Mhm.
course, Holly Cameron, she's been growing so much. She's a valuable asset, as Tony Khan says. Everyone loves what she's done. She had a great match with Mercedes Moné earlier in the year at Grand Slam. Of course, I would love to see what can happen next for her, especially with, of course, what will happen with a championship match later on in the night. Of course, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Aminata, Willow Nightingale, Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, the women from the Triangle of Madness, besides, of course, Tekla, of course, Sky Blue and Julia Hart. All those women can fight for the World Championship or go get a piece of Mercedes Moné and the TBS Championship. It seems to not be able to, of course, lose that grip. It's just there. It's like stuck like Gorilla Glue, which, of course, everyone uses. Opener to AEW All Out. I thought it was great. Of course, you got Bubbles. Yeah, the whole opener, everything. Just the memorabilia of Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. It sucks that in the last 25 years they have no championship to show for it. With this, but with Austin Matthews, no longer Mitch Marner, William Nylander, none of those people can get championships. But thankfully, an opener like, of course, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, everyone's favorite asshole, everyone's favorite, Coper. Like this is so many. I was gonna say Edger, but then I think we would have gotten kicked off of YouTube. But like, there's so much hate that came into this matchup, and it was finally time for us to see FTR and CNC, yeah, that CNC, go one-on-one in the opener in the Scotiabank Arena. That crowd, I'm loving every single time, whether it's Philly or whether it's overseas or whether it's in Toronto. When they sing Edge's theme song, everyone, of course, loses their mind. He's going all over the place. This match had it all from old spots, new spots, just ways to be able to combine the last 21 years that Edge and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage have missed in the past 25 years of teaming up together, whereas FTR have been teaming for over a decade, ever since the NXT days as the Mechanics. They've been kicking ass all over the world, and so this was just another example of why two of the best tag teams belong in All Elite Wrestling and can show off just like this. Max, we're gonna start off with you. What were your thoughts on this opener?
I thought this was really good. I think like a lot of people like myself wasn't like the biggest fans of the Cope and Christian versus Kip and Luchasaurus match on the last on Forbidden Door. I think it made a lot of people kind of skeptical, but FTR is just on, everyone talks about Bandito. We'll talk about him later. He's on a roll. I really think FTR just had such an under the radar year where they're having great matches with Adam Priest and Dynamite Kid. They're having great matches with the Workhorsemen. They're having great matches with kind of with everyone in AEW this year, even in the match of Juice and Jay those years ago. So they have been on a roll. I thought Cope and Christian did very well for themselves in the match. The Cope tribute to John Cena I thought was very cool after Cena kind of did that to him. Did that in the last SmackDown match, which I thought was fun. And I thought the stuff after was also a lot of fun with Beth Phoenix, Beth Copeland showing up on the show. So overall, I think everyone wins because it seems like this feud's continuing. Because it was weird where this was a feud with the tag titles involved. But I thought, and I did buy a ticket that FTR was winning at one point towards the end of the match, but was very happy, pleasantly surprised with how well the match went.
Of course, I think it was definitely the type of match that we were waiting to see, whether it was the main event opener or like just something to bring the crowd back up in the middle of the show. They definitely went all out for it. Corey, what were your thoughts on this?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the opener. I didn't have high expectations when I was watching going into it, because I think that the episodes of Dynamite and Collision leading up to it with their segments didn't really sell me on the idea that I want to see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage team up against FTR. Although there was some pieces of those segments that did get me, I did enjoy some things in this, especially the personal stuff. It's always nice when you can get personal in a feud because you can tell it's real. It's coming off as real and it's not coming off like you're bullshitting. So, but the match overall was very good, very good. Stokely getting involved, leading to Beth making her AEW debut to come and make the save and take them out of there. Followed by the finish that happened. It was good. It was good. And then you had the post match beatdown where they handcuffed Adam Copeland to the ropes, and he had to watch them take out both Christian Cage and Beth. It kind of reminded me of the Judgment Day days, where kind of the same angle where Beth got taken out. They did that whole thing with Rhea and Judgment Day taking out Beth. So, but it was good. I enjoyed the beginning. I popped bubbles, bubbles before the match. I popped. Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, it was for what it was for four guys, two old men, and then two guys closing in on 40 and 40. It was pretty good. Pretty good.
For sure. I definitely thought that it was the match that I wanted to see how gritty that all four men are against each other. And Adam Copeland needed a partner for weeks. And he finally told Christian Cage, go find yourself. That turned into this, and I'm glad that we haven't seen a change whatsoever from the style of Christian Cage. He's still the same way he is. He's still the same person that he's gonna be, and there's nothing to change about him. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And he's definitely nowhere near broken. Of course, I'd love to see where this goes next. I think the continuation, of course, does happen. Um, I do believe that a continuation does happen,
Mhm.
and that we can be able to see maybe even a hardcore match between all of them. I don't
Yeah.
know about TL. I don't know about TLC unless it's to the like a pinfall submission type of aspect. That's it.
Yeah.
Is Corey all good?
Yeah. He said he was just grabbing water.
Okay, all good. Well, we're gonna head into, of course, our next matchup. This was 7 minutes. It didn't feel like 7 minutes. It felt like I understand the frustrations that people might have online or whatever. They're like, oh, why Big Bill? Why not? You got a big giant who's talking shit about your favorite New Yorker. Like, look at Friday, for example, the movie Friday, which starring Ice Cube, what do you call it, Tiny Lester,
Yeah.
just Chris Tucker, so many great John Witherspoon, so many great people are in that movie. But the whole ending battle is Ice Cube, Craig, having to beat the shit out of Debo,
Yeah.
Tiny Zeus, who's a big giant. Of course, that fight didn't go out, the way that a lot of people expected it to, like just like a one-punch showdown. You're gonna have some rust in it because you're going against such a crazy giant like Big Bill is. But as soon as he found what do you call it, a moment to land that weird whiff of a spinning back fist, got the knockout blow, 1, 2, 3, and then we saw a winner from, of course, Eddie Kingston. Um, I, of course, loved it, and I like that the ending included that he gets jumped. Everyone's like, oh, like who's gonna save him? Who's gonna be that guy? And it's somebody that said they needed a new crew, that they needed new people around them. Hook. Hook is back after weeks of, like, of course, teasing what's gonna happen next for him. No one knowing whether he was gonna be part of a, like, heel group, a face group, a new makeshift group. And of course Eddie Kingston might be that guy for him, that mentor in his ear to tell him, like, of course, these streets are gritty. They're not gonna believe in you. They ain't fucking with you, man. Look what Daniel Garcia's got to do. He's got to join the Death Riders so that people can finally get their eyes more on him,
Yeah.
go for the championships, and actually make a bigger name for himself. What are your thoughts on Eddie Kingston's return win and him being back in AEW?
Yeah, I'll say this. I think I'm a huge Eddie Kingston fan. That was a really scary injury. I loved the match with him and Gabe, but it was just such a scary injury that took place. And he is such a big part of AEW. And I think tonight was a really good idea of they have so many guys that are hurt, and they did have a lot of guys come back. We're going to get Orange Cassidy. We're going to get Jungle Boy. We're gonna get Eddie Kingston. It's good that they're getting some more people back on board. I do think AEW has a problem where people are out for a very long time and they're just kind of thrown into some big spots where, last year Britt gets thrown into the Mercedes match, didn't really go well. Haven't really seen her since. Even like Riho, she got brought back, and that first tag match on Dynamite was not very good. Just there's a lot of ring rust, and I'm cool with their schedule. It's just it's like the one element of AEW. Like I wish these people would kind of get more reps before they get the big match, because there were some just clumsy, clunky elements. And I love Big Bill. It was just Eddie just had a lot of ring rust, and it's gonna happen. His first big match, first really real match in like well over a year. So it's tough. I think that's why they kept it to what it was. But I think moving forward, an Eddie and Hook, even tag team, will help all involved. So the ending story moving forward is interesting. I just think a lot of ring rust and a lot of clunkiness in the match overall.
I'm excited to see what that first segment is for him on Wednesday, of course. What kind of shenanigans he can get himself into. Because with Hook by his side, automatically I know Hook is going to be trying to gun for Daniel Garcia. Because, of course, Shibata's always going to be Hook's boy. And I feel like he's still going to have that respect for the ops and show that, no one fucks with, his former boys or any of the guys backstage. Um, Also, on top of that, I'm just very excited to see what goes forward with Brian Keith. He's been doing great things, of course, on the independent scene as per usual. He just became the 5 World Heavyweight Champion by defeating Clark Connors in an open challenge at the 5 Wrestling's Eon event at the Washington Hall, I believe last night. So for him to, of course, keep skyrocketing his singles run on the independent scene, we're still seeing him still show his face, still show signs, and having some really good matches in AEW. Big Bill having this big moment here with Eddie Kingston in a return match. But of course, we just want to know what happens going forward. They could be featured on TV, or we could even see different sides of course, Brian Keith that I think should be definitely there. I would like to see Brian, of course, against Eddie Kingston, but I feel like maybe the speed and I feel like this is like Rocky 3. I also compared it to, but also in a way like Mike Tyson post, of course, jail and everything, coming back to his fighting career in boxing. He took a little bit of a slow turn. Yeah, he racked up some wins, but then when he went against Evander Holyfield, he got dropped immediately in that fourth round. Like Buster Douglas wasn't too far off from knocking him out in the Tokyo Dome, and then we're just still seeing those signs where Eddie's got a jaw. Eddie's still got that warrior's ability, but of course, going forward, Moxley's still gonna be there. Moxley's like, Mr. T. He does not pity the fool, and he's gonna kill somebody at some given point, like he almost did today, which I'm surprised we didn't see. Like, of course, anybody stretch it out of that coffin match. But before we do get into that, we get into a match where there's definitely gonna be a high medical bill in this one. Mark Briscoe fought MJF in a tables and tacks match, and off the rip, just the tacks all around the ring, all around the entire, and he just the way that the referee's arms and hands were, taped up. Same with MJF and Briscoe. Briscoe really didn't care. Briscoe was like, I've done more bullshit than this in my entire life. This is gonna be nothing for me. What were your thoughts, of course, Corey, on this tables and tacks match? What was going through your head every time you saw one of these spots?
Well, before we get into what I thought about the match, I just want to go ahead and give some props to Maxwell. Let me give some props to Maxwell for his not only his dedication to professional wrestling right now, but he's also filming a movie at the same time right now. So yesterday he did the 92nd anniversary for CMLL title versus mask against Mystico down in Mexico yesterday night, 1 a.m. or today, 1 a.m. And 14 hours later, he was in a tables and tacks match against one sick son of a bitch named Mark Briscoe. A lot of crazy spots in this match. You would figure that Max was gonna put Mark through those tacks quite a bit, and he did. He had tacks all over his body. He put them in his mouth, punched him, and put the thumbtacks in there. Max took his own fair share of bumps through the tables, falling on tacks. ultimately, at the end of the day, Mark Briscoe gets the win with the J Driller, which he finally hit it. Love to see it. Um, Glad that Mark Briscoe came out on top in a feud like this because he needed it. He absolutely needed to come out on top in a feud like this. He's more than deserving of being in a top spot in that company, and I'm glad to see that he came out on top against MJF.
For sure, and like you said, is deserving of being in a top spot. And like I said, right after the match ended, I posted on Blue Sky. This guy should be a in the next world championship picture. He should be like, of course, I don't think anyone should take the title off of Hangman Adam Page for the next maybe year or two. Like he has had such a great story that it's so hard to pick. Oh, who takes the title off of him? We saw a great main event tonight, but of course, we still need to see signs to where Hangman Adam Page is always on top. And but Mark Briscoe and Hangman would be a phenomenal match. We saw what he can do in a hardcore match. We know what he can do when there's, of course, restrictions, when there's rules on the line, there's countouts, but he still wants to be his extreme crazy self, of course, Mark Briscoe. Max, what were your thoughts on this match?
I had a really good time with it. Like for me, I thought it was an absolute blast. I agree with Corey. I think it's just been time for Mark to finally win a major feud. He's put into so many situations with a lot of the top guys in AEW, but he just loses a lot of the time. Then it makes it unbelievable that he keeps getting these matches. So he just needs to win. So reports were it was like an MJF idea to do this feud, to have this situation happen, and the unselfishness of him to put Mark over in this way was really nice. It's so funny when you look at social media. People just always forget that MJF's a really great professional wrestler just because he's never in the ring that much. And every time he wrestles a match, everyone seems shocked that, wow, a good MJF match? Like, yes, this is a guy who can work his ass off any day of the week. His character doesn't want him to be working that much. So it's always great to see him in the ring. And I thought this match over-delivered, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you. Sorry, I just saw a bunch of spam comments right there about the same, hey Jace, hey Jace, hey Jace. I'm like, well, what the hell is going on there? But of course, heading into our next match, we get the Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toro Leona against the Hurt Syndicate, Lashley, Benjamin, MVP, and
Me.
and like we hurt people, we hurt people. We saw great action. Ricochet has proven so many naysayers wrong since arriving AEW. I remember like last December watching AEW and I was like sick ridden with laryngitis. It's one of my worst fucking times of my life, and I'm just bedridden watching Ricochet and being like, I don't get it. And then as the 3 months passed by, the matches that he had with Will Ospreay, the matches he had with Kazuchika Okada, the matches he had with Kenny Omega and Speedball Mike Bailey, he was doing so many great things and also showing off some such great work on the mic as a heel, like irritating me to the point where I'm like, I like that. I like what he said. Like he's so free with it. He's so catchy. He's able to just piece things together. And a lot of people online would be like, oh, but he wasn't able to do this here, wasn't able to do that there. That's why there's opportunities, my friend. Opportunities exist for a reason. It's where when we go somewhere and we show off what we can do, we're able to show them, hey, this is what I'm made of. This is the full package, baby. Like, come on. Like, did anybody ever watch Austin Powers growing up? Like, that's the whole freaking point. Like, hey, come on, baby, you gotta be like that. But of course, what a match, what a time. I love Shelton Benjamin. His Germans, whether it's deadlifting somebody or exploding them over the place, he's so good with it. Like he could throw somebody, he could throw my lifeless body up in the air and like juggle with it the whole time. And like
Bro,
who fucking cares?
he's 50. He's 50 and he's doing that shit.
50 years old and he's still able to kick so much fucking ass. And of course, MVP. I want to say this. I felt so nostalgic when he did the ball in. I felt like I was like 11 years old. Like I did it too. I was like, oh man, that was just so perfect. I remember playing SVR 2011, that old animation where
Yes.
he just do. It's so slow, and then he finally gets it, and then kick out at two, and then like, oh, gotta do it again. But it was so perfect. It was nostalgic for me, so I was very happy to see that. And of course, the win for Ricochet, getting that, especially over the Hurt Syndicate, but not beating Lashley and Benjamin just yet, it still adds power to them and still allows them to brainstorm ideas to potentially bring in some new members. But of course, Max, what were your thoughts on this one?
The main takeaway is I'm just very thrilled with the result. Ricochet and Gates of Agony really needed to win this match, especially with MVP being involved. It was just an easy person to take the pin for the match. Sometimes it's great in stories when the heels are right. And Ricochet, when he first got to AEW, this story started right in his first month, where he basically got bullied by the Hurt Syndicate, and they set up this whole long-term feud. And sometimes in these stories, it's okay if the heels are in the right and you still don't want them to win. But Ricochet's been one of my favorite performers in 2025. Toa and Lashley had a killer match too on Dynamite. And I'm really here for more. If Ricochet wants to be, I think, in the world title picture, I'm all here for. I'm also all here for Ricochet and Gates of Agony getting a rematch for the trios titles after MVP cost them in Philly. But I thought it was good. It wasn't as amazing as I was expecting going in. But for me, the only thing I cared about, honestly, was just Ricochet and Gates back and getting the win, and they got the win.
For sure. Corey, your thoughts?
Big meaty men slapping meat in this match.
That's right.
A lot of good stuff going on. It's crazy what Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin can still do at the age of 50. Incredibly impressed with what Ricochet has going with the Gates of Agony right now. I'm really liking this crew that he's come up with the Demand. It was good to see them get the W today. I didn't think that Hurt Syndicate was gonna want to put him over, but he got the W with his boys now. MVP was the one that took the pinfall, so Shelton and Bobby didn't look weak. They were taken out over the railing. So the ending was good. I think what this does is it opens the door. There was a report from Fightful this week about potentially adding a new member to the Hurt Syndicate. I think what this does is opens the door for potentially somebody being in that third spot instead of MVP. They have somebody younger come in and team with Bobby and Shelton. But overall, I felt like the 6 of these men killed it in this match.
I completely agree with you. It would be crazy if they did split up Jet Speed and brought in Kevin Knight like as their own guy and everything. Like he's young, he's fast, he's quick with it. Like I feel like putting him in Hurt Syndicate would be such a crazy move. And then you could still get Speedball Mike Bailey in a singles run because there's so many. You could put him in a tag team or singles run. Speedball Mike Bailey is a killer. Same with Kevin Knight, and they've been doing so much great things as a tag team. So I feel like having them branch off in like different roles, whether it's a heel or a face, you definitely get new stories and new opportunities for both sides. Our next matchup, for our ninth matchup of this night, it was about 14 matchups. Our ninth matchup of the night for the AEW TBS Women's World Championship, Mercedes Moné, of course, against Riho. I was looking forward to this match because, of course, we haven't seen Riho in such a long time, and it came at such a crazy time as well. Like we got AJ Lee back, we get Riho back. I'm like, whoa, like what's going on here with the wrestling world? Like they're just bringing back all the cool motherfuckers. But of course, Riho, it's finally good to see her back in AEW. She fought, of course, her head coach, her trainer, Emi Sakura, in that tag team match a while ago. In this build to this match. And as the weeks progressed, Mercedes Moné kept reminding her every single time that you can't beat the CEO, you can't beat the one who's going to beat Ultimate Dragon's record. And of course, at the end of the day, Mercedes Moné, after a hard-fought win, which there was many moments where you just think, oh, Riho's going to win the championship. Oh, this is going to be that moment where we finally see a new champion. That was not the case here. Once again, and still, TBS Women's World Champion Mercedes Moné. Max, what were your thoughts on this one?
I thought this is another match that I didn't have high expectations for. I've never been like the biggest Riho fan in ring. I think it was more her booking in her first run in AEW than recently, but she didn't look great in the Dynamite tag match a couple weeks ago. Made me nervous, but Mercedes again is the most one of, if not the most consistent wrestlers we have right now in the world, where it's really tough for her to wrestle a bad match at this point. And I thought Riho was a lot better than she's been in her first 2 matches back from hiatus. So I'm happy. Again, I thought, again, it was a known thing Mercedes was going to win. I do want a more personal or just a bigger story for Mercedes. It just feels like she's just having these great matches, which is great. We just haven't felt either a threat that she's going to lose, or other than obviously not defending the title. I mean, like for the TBS title, not in the match of Tony. So I think a more personal story, a more, just more time given to her storytelling, I think will help her moving forward. But I thought this match was way better than I was expecting. So credit to both women involved.
Yeah, credit to both women. Corey, what were your thoughts?
I don't really have to. Both of them killed it. I don't really have to give any thoughts because my favorite of all time is Mercedes Moné. So she always delivers in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that these two got to get in the ring together. The crowd was very disappointing. They were silent the entire match. I was not happy about that. For the quality of the match, for them to be quiet 95% of the match, it was very disappointing. But it was a very, very good match between the two of them. It's great to see Riho on TV again, the first ever AEW Women's World Champion. And Mercedes' reign doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. I want them now, like you guys mentioned, having a story. I want Mercedes to have a story with the Renegade Twins. I want them to pull the trigger on that story that's been pitched for quite some time now. So that's my thought on what I want to see moving forward with her. But the match was very good between two incredible professional wrestlers.
For sure. Heading into our next match after that, of course, classic. We had Kazuchika Okada, and I do want to say I agree with the crowd. Like the crowd was not showing really any life. One of my best friends was there, of course, in one of the high, of course, sections and whatnot, and it was showing like, of course, signs there. Like, everybody was like showing a lot of like cheers and jeers, but it felt like everybody in the front row area was just quiet. Like just they wanted to raise their hands up every now and then, not really make a lot of noise. Brother, if you got a good price for that ticket, make your voice loud. I say the same thing for I say the same thing for WWE crowds. We see the people in the front row. You paid $15,000 for a ticket. If you're not losing your voice in the first 20 minutes, then what are you doing there? Like just let it all out. Make yourself known. Like come on now. But our
Yeah,
next matchup,
if you pay good money, you got to show out for where you're sitting at.
Yep.
come on now. Exactly. Our next matchup was a 3-way for the AEW Unified Championship. We had the champion Kazuchika Okada, of course the Rainmaker, defending his gold against Konosuke Takeshita, the current G1 Climax holder, and Mascara Dorada, who earned this opportunity by beating the Beast Mortos this past Wednesday to finally get himself this opportunity. And he's only, I believe, 21, 23 years old or so, like in that age gap. 23 years old, and he is crazy good. Held himself up with these aces. Konosuke Takeshita has already proven himself in these last 2-3 years, from coming up, having his debut against Hangman Adam Page, to going and becoming this just insane monster with the Don Callis family, and now winning the G1. Of course, this past couple of months. Hold on a minute, we had ourselves another comment.
Hey.
Fellas from the 10 Count Podcast. Thank you so much.
No, which one of them is it? Which one of them is it?
Which one? Which one? But of course, we had such a fun time watching this one. That top rope hurricane run up between both men being thrown off onto their asses by Mascara Dorada. The drop kicks, the lariats, the way that Konosuke Takeshita had so many opportunities to become a new champion, but he kept getting in his head. He kept saying, I gotta pin Kazuchika Okada. I gotta pin the Rainmaker. Because that's what it kept being for the past couple of weeks and even months. Every time he sees Okada, Don Callis is glazing the fuck out of him, saying, like, this is the Rainmaker. This is the guy you want to be like. And Konosuke is like, I won the G1. I've won championships galore. I could beat him. One-on-one, let's go. But that wasn't the case here. It was a 3-way, and it ended up with, of course, Kazuchika Okada getting the win, retaining the championship, and a very, very hard-fought victory over both men who, of course, if we see another match like this, I think we're just gonna have to just give it up the 6-star match, 6-star match rating. What were your thoughts on it, Corey?
Do I even have to give my thoughts on this one? Incredible. We talked about Mascara Dorada being 23 years old and doing what he's doing right now. He's not only the future of lucha libre, but he's the future of professional wrestling. A lot of crazy spots in this match with him. You had so many teases with Okada and Takeshita.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on that 1v1 now. I need it soon. Um, they might do it probably after Takeshita goes and becomes IWGP
Yep.
Heavyweight Champion. They might end up doing the match after he's got a belt around his waist finally. But I do need that match. I had predicted Okada was going to go over because I didn't think they were going to pull the trigger just yet. I think they pulled the trigger when Takeshita challenges him one-on-one. But overall, with the teases of the two of them going back and forth, and Mascara Dorada being involved. Very, very good three-way dance in there. I think Dave Meltzer will probably get it up 5.25 stars on the scale. That's just how good it was.
Of course, I just want to mention one thing before I hand over to Max, but I did want to mention that I would love to see Konosuke Takeshita win the IWGP World Championship off of Zack Sabre. I don't know if it could be before the Wrestle Kingdom event so that they could set up a new challenge, but if that's the case, because I believe that happened before with Zack winning the World Championship and having a new contender arrive at Wrestle Kingdom, if we can get Takeshita as new champion, him challenging Okada for a winner take all match at Wrestle Kingdom, lure
Yeah.
Okada back to Japan for that big match. I think that would definitely be something that everybody would look forward to, and Okada can't say no to
I
that
think
because
that's
the
what
IWGP World
the
Championship
end
means
goal
more.
is.
You know, like I feel like maybe my sources are
Yeah.
right, and it's just my intrusive thoughts. That's
There
it.
you go.
That's really it.
Nice.
Like I've been thinking for the last year, like man, this should happen. But Max, of course, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I love the match. I thought it was really good to have Dorada in there, not just for let's make this a 3-way, not a 1-on-1, but also just different style of wrestling where you have two Japanese hard-hitting wrestlers mixing with lucha libre styles. We saw so many different styles of wrestling. We had the high-flying moments. We had the hard-hitting, Japanese moments. I thought the variety and diversity of the match I thought was really strong. And I said it, and yeah, Takeshi's challenging Sabre next month in October. So they're doing that next month. So I'm very excited for the match. Takeshi, just like Zach, is doing this match early. So I was watching today. It feels like a Tokyo Dome main event when they were standing together and the whole crowd was losing. This feels like a Tokyo Dome main event. So it would be a big, big match if they can do it there. So get me to early January already for Takeshi and Okada.
I can't wait. Like, of course, I love even hearing things like that because, of course, I don't really keep up a lot with the news. I've been very busy the last couple of days off my phone and whatnot. So whenever I hear about, of course, New Japan news and stuff like this, IWGP World Title matches, especially Takeshita and Zack Sabre Jr., that's gonna just be just a barn burner. We've seen it in the G1 already as it is. Them kick each other's asses. Now with the gold on the line, that's gonna be even more of a brutal match because we saw Omega and Okada for many, many years. Now these two, they're still in the prime, they're still so fresh. It's just gonna be a lot of fun. Heading into our next matchup, uh, it was just Death Incorporated. We got October coming in very early with a coffin match between John Moxley and Darby Allin. And it didn't end until the action didn't even end until even after this match and everything. But
Yeah.
these two killed each other all automatically from the start of the match. They were trying to fight. They were fighting each other in the crowd. Darby leaps off from the crowd onto Moxley. They were just going at each other the whole way. Finally gets to the ring. We see steps involved. We see the casket get completely brutalized. We see Moxley's ear get torn apart. Stabs on stabbed by a fork. There was so many crazy moments that happened. But the biggest one was Pac finally returning from his injury that rendered that it's I believe it was a broken leg or of some sort maybe like it was some kind of injury that kept him out for almost like past year or so, and so finally we get him back, and not only did we get him back, he killed Darby Allin. by going for a razor's edge out the ring onto that casket, just
Oof.
rendering him
Woo!
helpless. Like that man was just Darby was just gone once and for all. They got him in a casket. Moxley could barely survive. Moxley definitely needed the Death Riders by his side. He finally slams it shut. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. John Moxley gets himself the big win. I thought he was gonna lose because, of course, I put in the chat earlier that I thought that MJF would lose, which he did, and I thought that, of course, Moxley would lose, so that we can be able to maybe get some time away from them and maybe see what they can do when they come back. Moxley ain't going anywhere. His vacation is being in a ring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy is such a workhorse. He loves being in AEW. He loves being in a professional wrestling ring. His vacations are just that. What were your thoughts, Max, on this one? And what do you think happens next?
I know this match and the way that it is not for everyone. For some reason, I don't know if I'm just, a crazy person. I really do enjoy these matches that Moxley and Darby do. They're so insane. They're so intense. Their bodies are just like, they don't really think about them that much during the matches. There you go. Justin is on personal account. There you go. But I also want to say just props to John Moxley because so many people just shit on him the first half of this year because of the booking of the world title and making that like, oh, John Moxley all of a sudden is now a boring wrestler or something. Post losing the title has been one of, if not the most interesting characters on the program every week. And his matches with Roddy on Wednesday was really good. The 2 matches with Garcia were really good. The title rematch with Hangman was really good. I think Moxley's kind of making a point that all those people who were crapping on him for the first half of this year were dead wrong. And Moxley has been as interesting as ever. It does feel like we're maybe in blood and guts with now the Death Riders are in a 5-person situation now, Foley with Pac, Garcia, Claudio, and Yuta. Maybe we go in that direction. But I'm actually kind of happy. I am someone who can watch Mox and Darby fight forever, so I'm cool with them continuing on.
We got a moment after, like during the pay-per-view, where, of course, they thought they got rid of him. It felt like a Halloween scene, like Halloween 4, the Return of Michael Myers, I believe that was. And so we thought, oh, like that's it, like Michael's dead, and out of nowhere he sticks his thumb through your forehead, you die, like, it's over with.
And sorry, I just want to say also, Danielson was so good on commentary during this match. And as many of the matches on the show, but he was really hilarious.
He's the best on commentary.
Very good.
He's so good. Like as you said, he's so good. He's so golden on it. Especially I was gonna even say during that the Callis the Konosuke Takeshita Okada match. Like the whole time he's trying to pit these two against each other, and Callis like, what are you doing, man? Like, but even they got it's in so much into the action. Even especially later on in the night with the ladder match and with the main event, there was just so many good key moments from Bryan Danielson, who should have been on commentary to begin with. Like, if we can get a collision where it's just, of course, the 2 team of Nigel and Bryan Danielson, I think that would be the funnest 2 hours of every weekend. But of course, we saw later on in the night, Darby Allin, I don't know, get a fucking flamethrower and start burning up John Moxley, trying to kill him again, turn him into barbecue. Like, I don't know whether we're gonna get a blood and guts match or we're gonna get a blood and guts match that's also an Inferno match. There's so many crazy ideas that come out of both these guys' heads, and they're like, how do we kill each other this week? And they just find new ways to one up it. Corey, do you have any thoughts on this match?
I thought it was good to see Pac back after his brutal injury that he suffered. Him showing up after the Death Riders had been there previously. You would think Darby was about to win the match the way it was going, and out of nowhere, Pac showed up and pretty much helped Moxley get the W. You said he did the razor's edge to the outside, threw Darby back in the ring, put him in a body bag, stuffed him in the coffin, closed the coffin. John Moxley him jump on top, get the win. Then you got, once that happens, like you guys said, later in the pay-per-view in a backstage segment, you had the Death Riders, all of them talking to each other in the back. John Moxley sends the rest of them off. He starts talking to the camera a little bit, and Darby Allin jumps out of the coffin and starts beating the shit out of him. And he fair play. He puts him in the body bag, puts Moxley in the body bag, uh, puts the gasoline on it, and puts the flames on him. Put the flames on him. It was a fun match. Another one of the gimmick matches that I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go because this feud is still far from over.
Far from over, indeed. And when you mention, like, of course, he lets like Moxley lets the Death Riders go off into their own way so that he can just settle it off with Darby Allin, just finish the whole deal. I did mention Halloween 4, but I do want to mention Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, because in the ending you see Dr. Loomis tell Paul Rudd's character and everybody else just go on, leave. I'm gonna handle the situation, and then all you hear is Loomis's screams, and of course the actor who played Donald Pleasance had sadly passed away, so of course they had to write him off in that way. But in a way where if we could have gotten like the camera panning away and then Moxie's screaming as if like Darby is still alive, like he's like Jason Voorhees, like he's Michael Myers, or even Chucky with the way that he's rolling around the area. I thought that it would have been such a little key moment just to add, and like for people who have watched all these Halloween films or even horror films that are either really good or just really fucking bad. Like I'm sure that Max is a big Halloween Resurrection fan.
Oh God, I the Halloween franchise, man. Like, give me one and 2018, and I'm good, bro. The rest of them are not for me, to be honest with you.
I'll let you say that, but okay. Anyways, so
Wow.
I love Halloween 1, 2, the OGs, 4, 5, and 6. 7 was weird because I didn't understand it. 8 was Resurrection. It's funny because Buster Rhymes says trick or treat, motherfucker, and I always quote that shit every freaking chance I get. But it was also an awful movie. Halloween '07 and '09 with Rob Zombie was weird enough, but Halloween 2018, great. Halloween Kills, I thought it was the ending with him killing everybody off. I thought that was like very fucking cool. And then ends with Fat Michael Myers. That's just it was like bringing back Shawn Michaels out of retirement to go to Saudi Arabia with
Yeah.
Triple H. We're like, what is going on here? What is this bullshit? So, yeah, they did Michael dirty in the writing. But there's someone who did get done dirty, someone who became a new champion
Yeah.
in the AEW Women's World Championship match. We had, of course, Timeless Tony Storm defend her gold against Jamie Hayter, Tekla, and Chris Statlander. In an all-out war, these women wanted to kill each other ever since the match got announced by Tony. She put her title on the line in the situation. She said I want to put myself in a situation like this where if even if I don't get pinned, which she did, anyone can become a world champion. And in the end, finally, once and for all, Chris Statlander became the new AEW Women's World Championship. Oh, by the way, the first woman to win the TBS Championship and the AEW Women's World Championship. So congrats to Chris Statlander. She's done so much great work ever since coming back from injury, overcoming so much from a face run to a heel run, getting back into a face run, winning the World Championship, and just keeping the fans behind her because we loved her match with Willow Nightingale. We loved that entire feud that they went all out on each other with glass and barbed wire and tacks, everything that they could possibly get their hands on. And now for her to become world champion, especially after a moment where Willow Nightingale recently said, "I don't trust Chris Statlander. I don't want to even be near her." Now you're gonna have to be near her because now the world championship is right there on the line. If you want a shot, it's Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
Corey, what were your thoughts on this one, and what were your thoughts on a new champion being crowned?
All four women involved in this match killed it. I've been very impressed with Tekla's work since she came into AEW. A lot of people said that she wasn't going to be able to fit. She wasn't a good fit for AEW. She's proven them wrong already in the time that she's been there. Jamie Hayter is Jamie Hayter, incredible professional wrestler. Tony Storm has done so much with the timeless gimmick and the championship, but it was time for her to drop it. It's time for her to drop it. And judging by the way the match ended, Chris Statlander did whatever Wheeler Yuta told her to do. Whatever he whispered in her ear, he told her, "This is how you're gonna win." I guess this is what he told her in her ear. I figured that the Death Riders would be the reason why Chris Statlander became Women's World Champion today. I guess technically they are the reason that she became Women's World Champion today, but I thought it would be in a different way. But she deserves it so much. She's been kicking ass for so long in AEW. She's gone through hell and back with her injuries. Like you said, she's the first ever to hold the TBS and the Women's World Championship. So I was very happy with the way that this match went and the result of this match.
For sure. And new champion, a new era, a new chapter. We got being finally born. We've seen Timeless Toni Storm dominate so much. And then we had that little brief turn where Mariah May was champion, of course, before her departure. Oh, he apparently did. And then we had, of course, her, small, tenure during that time. Trying to get this back to a little bit of a normal time. Can we get this? Can we get this? Can we get
Yeah.
this? Yeah, we got this. Um, I think we got it. But so, like, Corey, sorry, Max. Sorry, my apologies. What were your thoughts on a new champion being crowned?
I gotta be honest, I was really surprised they pulled the trigger with Stat because I really thought they were gonna do like a Tony Storm Jamie Hayter feud. Either Jamie steals the title tonight or they just Tony wins, but that would be the single feud. Because I thought, Tony beat Athena clean, beat Mercedes. I felt like going in, I was thinking a Fatal 4 would kind of be a cheap way for her to lose, like her not get pinned after having such a great feud. But I love that she took the pin. Stat did the Wheeler Yuta pin as well, which I thought was really well done. Tekla's translated really good to American audiences, and she deserves to be in these big spots. I think Jamie will get her time back, but I agree with what Corey said and with what you said about Tony, which is even before losing the title, she's really been in the title picture for like 2 straight years now, where she's just been the focal point. The Mariah May feud, if you're talking about this, even the time where Saraya won the title was kind of right back to Tony. She has been the top. So it's going to be very interesting. So it'll be very interesting moving forward what happens with Tony chasing the title. But honestly, I'm happy for Stat. She talked about it for weeks. This was her first title match for the world title in 4 years, and for her to get the win the match, I was shocked. I was happily surprised, and it looks like, as Corey said, we might be going Stat and the Death Riders moving forward here.
Most certainly, and heading into our next matchup, a 4-way ladder match for the AEW Men's World Tag Team Championships, where we had the team of Brody King, and Bandito going against the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, who finally got their entrance back with their 100K money. Like hopefully they don't blow it off on blackjack, but they're doing pretty good for themselves so far. We love to see it. Jet Speed were also involved. Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, and then we also had the Don Callis families, Hikaseto and Josh Alexander. For weeks, I was pushing that Josh Alexander would be fighting Hangman Adam Page in the main event. That didn't happen, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it at all because he still had a golden championship moment, and he still had an opportunity where he kicked so much ass. It was a great. Hikaseto looked so good as a big man, of course, like Brody King is inside of this type of atmosphere of a ladder match. Josh Alexander and Speedball Mike Bailey mesh so perfectly well together. And every time they collide, it's just magic every single time. Kevin Knight, his speed, the way that he can keep it technical a little bit and then just go all out, all over the place. He knows how to make the save and also knows how to keep Speedball on his feet, who's also barefoot, by the way. The Young Bucks, as per usual, we see classic Bucks from them, and I love always. Anytime they're in a ladder match, anytime they're in a stipulation type of match, they have so many different ideas that they want to run, they want to do, and they kick ass every single time. Props always to the Young Bucks. Like, there's a lot of people who do not like them. I absolutely love them. I think that they've done a great job putting themselves on as the most arrogant tag team in the entire world, who the EVPs who had all this money, who could make your life a living hell, and then all of a sudden it goes all away, and they have to work their way up. They come back with BTE, the YouTube channel, and
Right.
everybody's just such a big fan. And there was a big moment earlier this week. Where on an episode of BTE, they got a knife sent to them by Jack Perry, and it said, "This is for the next time you want to stab me in the back." In the end of this match, we saw Brodito retain their AEW Men's World Tag Team Championships in such a great, great, great match. Like, truly. But I already knew once I saw a ladder match and 3 other teams involved with Brodito, I was like, okay, we're going to be eating good. And for a co-main event before the main event of the evening, this was just perfect from start to finish. In the end, Brodito wins retain the tag team championships, but then the Young Bucks get a little bit of a old friend coming back, and that's Jack Perry. At first, I was a little bit confused. I was like, "Oh, is this the moment where he's gonna get his payback? How is everybody gonna react?" And it reacted in a way where I didn't expect this to happen. I thought the Young Bucks would be the ones to turn face, but no, we got Jack Perry, who wanted to beat their asses, who almost got hit with a BTE trigger, and then in the end, who makes the save? Luchasaurus, what I said on Blue Sky a month ago when they showed that segment with the Luchasaurus coming back. I'm like, that was Jack Perry's room. That was Jack Perry's boiler room. Like the same room that fucking Jedediah has in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like just all of his masks, all of his victims. That was right there, Jack Perry's room, and like it was just, come on now, like it was bound to happen. We were bound to see Jack Perry back with Luchasaurus. And when we didn't see him in the pre-show, I was like, okay, like at first I thought Jack Perry was going to attack Cope Cage, and then we're gonna get Luchasaurus with him, and it was gonna be this big old matriarchy. That's not the case here. And now that they're faces, now we get Jack Perry and Luchasaurus against the matriarchy, against the Young Bucks, against all these teams. But now it's different because Jack Perry's still got that demented mind of his. He didn't get over anything. He learned so much. Like he learned so much of being in a house of torture and having to travel and having to be by himself and having to learn and claw his way out from the bottom. He's done so much for himself. For him to come back, get of course Tarzan as his theme song again. I thought it was so cool. I was like, I haven't heard this in so long. He became evil, and then we just had like the very like Beethoven-ish music and whatnot. Like just it was just very low, very deep. I think it was like Moby Dick even. I don't know. It was something. It was something along those lines. Um, but of course, return of Jurassic Express. I hope people know that that's Jurassic Express, not Jungle Express. I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, Jungle Express is back." I'm like, you guys are not OG AEW fans, apparently.
That's how you know.
Because Jurassic,
Yeah.
like, that's how you know Jurassic Express has always been like, and that's the thing too. I just saw a recent video of Marco Stunt, who he's retired from professional wrestling. My friend, she's very good friends with him and whatnot. She knows more about, of course, the things he's done ever since leaving professional wrestling because of retirement. He was going to be paralyzed if he did not, of course, retire. And he sells cars. He works at churches. He's such a great guy, Marco Stunt. But if they had an opportunity here, I would bring him back as Dr. Evil. Just put him on the Titantron every single week, have him in one of those spinny chairs, and then just just try to torture any person that tries to mess with Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus kill everybody with just assistance of Marco Stunt telling them who to kill, like he's Dr. Evil. I think that would be funny as hell. What were your thoughts on this co-main event and this ending?
I thought it was very good. The match was great. The Bucks are my favorite tag team of all time, so I love getting them in these. Especially, I grew up with them, watching them in Ladder Wars and Ring of Honor, so I'm used to them watching them in their matches. They deliver. Bandito's been for me easily the pro wrestler of 2025. I was there luckily in person to witness Bandito versus Hechicero, and it was an unbelievable match. And
yes,
in person, it was insane. So I'm happy Hechicero's getting a lot of love. Jet Speed are great. I think the tag division finally has some momentum in AEW. But yeah, afterwards, I'm happy they went the Jurassic Express way. I'm a big Jack Perry fan, but the heel run clearly didn't click for everyone, especially the way they use kind of reality to turn a real situation into a story situation. And I think for his character, that was a huge pop when that music hit and everyone was swinging. One of the biggest pops on the show. I think it just proves how much people miss this group, miss the old version of Jack Perry. Not that we're going to get Jungle Boy back. I think this guy needs to still be Jack Perry, but him and Luchasaurus wrestled the most matches in AEW in the first 2 years of its inception. Like, they were on every Dynamite, Rampage, and Dark episode.
Yeah, exactly.
They were everywhere. So I'm happy that they are back as a team. Another team that is back in the tag division. And I think you can tell Jack, the way he smiled, and it's like, finally, feels like home again. This character, this team, being a baby face, I think this is all going to work out for everyone involved in the end.
For sure. And also, just on top of that, just being able to see everything back, folded together, I think it's very perfect. Corey, what were your thoughts on this?
Incredible four-way tag team ladder match. Some of the spots were outstanding. Let's talk about Brody King doing the pile driver to the outside through the ladder. Good Lord. So many incredible athletes in this match. Like you said, Max, I think Bandito is probably the best wrestler of 2025. His resume speaks for itself since coming back from injury. He's kicking ass. He's the Ring of Honor World Champion. He is the AEW World Tag Team Champion. And, of course, they retained in this match. Then you had the Young Bucks. I figured after the Young Bucks were in the ring by themselves after the match that something was going to happen. They were lackadaisical getting out of the ring. They were just there like, what the hell? Then you hear the pop from the crowd. Jack Perry pops up between them. If you watch the BTE channel this week, he sent them a knife. He sent them a knife on this week's episode. So that was kind of foreshadowing what was going to happen tonight. You got that Jack Perry return. Jack Perry immediately attacks the Young Bucks. They get the upper hand there. Had Rocky Romero try to help him. Rocky Romero gets laid out. Then the Young Bucks get Jack Perry on the ropes. The lights go out. The video that we've already seen play once plays again. Luchasaurus, well, he was kill switch at the time. He's revived. He shows up again in the background behind the Young Bucks, and it's no longer kill switch. Luchasaurus and the Jurassic Express have reunited, which that's something that I love to see because Jurassic Express are AEW OGs, minus Marco Stunt. They're AEW OGs, and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were a fun act to watch when AEW was starting out. And I did not really like the scapegoat gimmick whatsoever for Jack Perry. So I think going back to Jungle Boy, and if you heard the crowd reaction, Tarzan Boy plays and the crowd is swaying their arms with them and doing everything. I think it's the right move to have Jack Perry go back to the Jungle Boy gimmick, an evolved version of the Jungle Boy gimmick at that, and then Luchasaurus. So I'm guessing they might have got the legal issues sorted out with the Luchasaurus stuff. So it's good to see Jurassic Express back together.
For sure. I want to say one moment. I'm gonna be right back. Max, could you cover the main event for me real quickly?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
so
you.
Let's move into this main event, Corey. We had Hangman Adam Page defeating Kyle Fletcher for the world titles match. Went well over 30 minutes. We had Bryan Danielson yelling and cursing during this match. We had Kyle Fletcher. They were setting up the fact that they were going to do the table spot on the outside where he was going to do the brain buster through the table. He did a brain buster through a table, but it was near the timekeepers area, which was even filthier because there just wasn't a lot of space there. But Hangman hitting Deadeye on Fletcher threw that table on the outside, hitting the Deadeye on the top rope to the to the ring. Hangman gets the win. There wasn't a lot of threat of Fletcher winning the match, but when they went into WrestlePalooza, I thought it was really smart having, compared to a lot of the top WWE guys, a lot of young talent on the main event scene. Kyle Fletcher's only 26 years old. Hangman's on the younger end of world champions in pro wrestling. I thought Fletcher, you can just tell, is clearly the next guy for AEW moving forward. Wasn't going to win this match. He's still the TNT champion, but I thought this match was so fantastic, hard-hitting, a lot of brain busters, but Hanger gets the win. Corey, what did you think of this main event?
Absolutely outstanding from two incredible professional wrestlers. Kyle Fletcher is the guy for the future. He has proven himself time and time again now. Being put into a main event spot like this with a guy like Hangman Page, I was very impressed with what he did. He will now forever have me saying his full name. The Proto Star, Kyle Fletcher, TNT champion, incredible talent. So good way for this pay-per-view to end, and I loved every second of this match.
Yes, I did as well. I think, again, the right decision of Hangman winning was good. Again, Don Callis and Brian were good, really good on commentary. Again, Fletcher hit a hidden blade in this match. Hangman hit a V-trigger in this match. There were also just a lot of good callbacks. So, yes, it's another vintage, long AEW show, but once again, I think they over-deliver as always on the in-ring. And I think for a match where many people just didn't think there was doubt in the winner, I think this match still absolutely delivered. So now I think we're at the part of the show now. We were going to move over to WWE Wrestlepalooza, Rami. We just finished talking about Hangman. So do you want to take over now as we head into Wrestlepalooza?
I just wanted to mention this. It's crazy that we had this incredible main event for AEW All Out between Hangman Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher in the middle of the opener for the WrestlePalooza between John Cena, the last real champion, the greatest of all time, against Brock Lesnar, and ended the same way it would have ended under Vince McMahon's regime, and don't even know for what. There's no kind of excuse in the entire world anybody could make for me to be able to tell me that this was any bit of a right decision whatsoever. Last night on Friday Night SmackDown, you had Brock Lesnar go out there and give Corey Graves a real bump for the first time since, I believe, 2014, 2015. I believe 2014 or so, or even late 2013. Like, it's been a real long minute since we've seen Corey Graves actually be in a spot like that. And then, of course, he tells Paul Heyman, we need to talk. The next night, brings in Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman back together, the Advocate, the Beast Incarnate, and automatically off the rip, Brock Lesnar was the same person he was at SummerSlam when he gave John Cena that trip to Suplex City, and then it ended in 8 minutes and 50 seconds off of 6 F5s in a row and the pin. And I can't say anything besides that was fucking stupid. That was a complete waste of fucking time. There was no kind of excuse you can build in the entire world. A guy in his retirement year got completely sunned by a guy who's not been there in like 2 freaking years, even though he just had a match at SummerSlam where he literally took 8 finishers, 8 signatures, so many different types of, crazy nostalgic stuff. Went through tables, went through guardrails, everything he could think of. He put himself through hell for that match. But then when it comes to Brock Lesnar, it's 8 minutes and 50 seconds of just suplexes, looking around at the crowd because he's getting gassed out, and then 6 F5s because that's the only thing he knows how to do these days because his brain's so tiny. And so, like, 1, 2, 3, it's over with. And I'm like, wow. Like, there was I think I got a concussion, and because there's no way that Brock could have gotten concussion because to get a concussion you need a brain. Brock don't got one. Whoever wrote this match out doesn't have a fucking brain, and this entire match was like to have it a 8-minute shit show in the midst of a great main event and then be like, oh, this is why we're counterproducting, guys. This is the reason why we're going to counterproduct AEW is because we know people will tune in for this opener. Could you imagine the amount of people who switched over and said, oh, it's okay. I'll be able to catch that main event later. I can't wait to see this bloodbath between Brock and John. And Brock Lesnar saying last night, it's gonna be D-Day. It's gonna be bloody. I'm gonna go to war. Was that war? Because there's a movie called Jarhead, and that entire movie prepares the actors that you're gonna go to war and you're gonna fucking like it. And then in the very end, they get told there's no war. We prepared you this entire 1 hour and 40 minutes of the movie that you're gonna go to war and you're gonna shoot some brains off. But guess what? You ain't fucking going to war. You're gonna go right back home. That's what it felt like. So this match was a complete waste of time, a waste of a retirement tour, a waste of a whole year of John Cena's entire run, all so that they could bring back a guy that was named 44 times in a lawsuit for so many horrible, horrible things that he did. But yeah, apparently that there's no fan satisfaction. There was no high morale in this company. It's just let's push this guy because apparently he makes us so much money. Max, Corey, what were your guys' thoughts? Anyone who wants to take this for a moment?
I'll go in. I agree with you. I thought it was very bad for me, and I'm not a big fan of John Cena, and I was rooting for John Cena to win the match. But I thought the moment Brock came back, I was like, Brock's probably beating Cena. Why would he come back to just be put over, right? Then when Heyman came out to do the introductions, I said, this is definitely happening. Brock's definitely winning, because why would they have Heyman come back to Brock if Cena's just going to beat him in a 10-minute match? Knew it wasn't going to be a long match because Brock has looked very when he beat up Cena the first time on SmackDown, he looked very winded. So I was like, this match probably can't go very long. But the nervous thing for me is that I don't think this is it. Like Cena might come back and maybe win another match with Lesnar, like go off TV. Brock will go off TV again for a couple months and then come back for another Cena match. I also think we're at a point now, we're on the home stretch, right, of Cena's retirement tour. I think it's time to be putting over the future of the business in this. If Cena's going to be putting people over, which he should be doing in these final 2 or 3 months, I think putting people over, young guys, if it's Braun Breaker, if it's Jacob Fatu, if it's whoever it is, other people, Bronson Reed, whoever it is, other people, to be like Brock winning this match, what is his gain for Brock Lesnar? He's beaten Cena a billion times. There's a lot of personal stuff. Rami and I have gone into that on a lot of post shows. The post show when Brock came back, we had a long couple of rants about that. So this was not for me. I thought it was a weird way to start the show. Thankfully, actually, they started the show with this and didn't end the show. Yeah, he was gassed very quickly in the match. And Cena's been having some really good matches lately. The match with Sammy, which ended in a draw, was very good. Obviously, the match with Cody at SummerSlam was a lot of fun. He's kind of been on like a roll lately in ring, and it kind of just fell to a halt. So this match was not for me. I'm not excited for Brock being back in this major direction with Heyman. Who knows what that means? So I'm a big thumbs down for me for this. Thumbs down. Yeah, thumbs down for this match.
Big thumbs down. I don't really want to continue it at all. Like it just left a sour taste in my stomach where I was like, I kept telling my brother the whole day, I'm like, it's gonna end the same way I believe it is. Like there's just no way that they're gonna put Cena over because they don't care about Cena's retirement run. They already gave him a flip-flop heel run that didn't turn into anything. And then they made him lose the championship and we're like, okay, what's next? He fights Logan Paul and they're like, oh man, he pulled out all these different moves. What's he gonna go do against Brock Lesnar? And it's bullshit. So it's like, yep, moving on. This company is awful. So, anyways, it's just it's the honest thing, really. If you can't be honest, then you can't be working in a place like this because you gotta have your own morals and your own high ground.
The only thing I was excited about, Rami, was when the match ended. I was like, I can't wait for your rant on the post show. I was thinking of you. I was like, you're gonna have some very well educated talk about this match. So you got me excited.
I'm very glad because we see how this whole company goes. they don't really care really that deeply about fan satisfaction. They care about what can make us the most money, what's gonna lure people in. They didn't make the main event AJ Lee's return. They made the opener a very, very pivotal thing of with two generational titans, one guy who's been named 4 different times in a lawsuit detailing sexual assault and sex trafficking, and then our main event is gonna be a guy who went to a birthday party for one of the main people in this lawsuit from Janelle Grant, a former WWE employee, about Vince McMahon and his sexual assault and sex trafficking. There was no at all thought in their head of, hey man, we just got back AJ Lee for the first time in 10 years. How about we book her in the main event? How about we get everybody riled up for that? They didn't think about that because they don't really have any thinking process, and they're gonna have a Unreal episode coming out next year, being like, yeah, this is always the plan, brother. Because this is the way that things work. All these dirt cheats, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, pal. Like, okay, pal, whatever. But we go on to the next match. Blood feud, which was literally pretty bloody. We had ourselves. Sorry, I went to the wrong pay-per-view. So,
You're good. Tag match.
We had ourselves, yeah, of course, a tag match between the Usos and the Braun Brawns. And the whole time I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
Brock, Braun. Like, what is this? The Brock Braun squad?
Sure.
What is Seth Rollins? What is Seth Rollins gonna fucking think about all of this, really? Because he's like, oh wow, my freaking advocate, my manager, just goes right back to the guy who can just apparently slice anybody right open. Like, yeah. I thought at the end of the night that Brock was going to appear and then attack Cody Rhodes. That didn't happen, and apparently, I don't know if you saw the post show right now, a few moments ago, but there was a title pose between both Seth and Cody. And apparently the Crown Jewel Championship will be defended at in Perth, Australia. So I believe this will be between Cody and Seth.
Yes, but they said it. They said it. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm just very, of course, cool. Yeah, we get two, of course, generational guys, of course, going against each other and just wanted to kill it once again. But no title defense from Seth Rollins and since Cash and Paris. So we're not having two pay-per-views where there's gonna be no title defense whatsoever. Sorry. A friend of mine messaged me something. A friend of mine messaged me and I was like, I lost my train of thought. But no, it's something that we're gonna see between Rollins and Cody. We haven't seen them fight one-on-one since the Hell in a Cell match. So it's gonna be very, very interesting. I'm very excited for it. So hopefully going forward, that feud and it's very nice to see CM Punk and Seth Rollins not fucking feuding anymore. Keep them away. Becky and AJ, I could deal with that. I could be okay. If
you say that, but I'm telling you, after that, they'll do Punk and Rollins. Don't you worry. They're gonna do Punk and Rollins.
No. Exactly. Once Survivor Series comes, I already know that they're gonna pair CM Punk, Cena, Cody, Randy, Jey Uso, and then go against the Vision and all the other hoopla. But
right.
Of course, we had the Vision's Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker with LA Knight as a special guest referee against the Usos, and a match that I saw more entrance action than I did, of course, in the ring from the Usos. The Usos started getting back into more of the action later on as the match went on. But we see so much from Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed of like this dominant tenure that they've been on Monday night episodes, but we don't see it from pay-per-views. And then when we finally see it tonight, where we finally see them get this big win, I'm very happy for them. They deserve it more than anything. But it's opportunities like this where I was like, Bronson Reed could have beat Roman Reigns. They could have also beat Roman and Jey Uso at SummerSlam. They didn't just need to beat the Usos here just so they can give Jimmy Uso some like maternity leave or whatever. Like, I feel like there's opportunities where you beat these guys month after month after month. You build them up. Braun Breaker should be like the next top dog. I wouldn't even mind if they sent Braun Breaker for like a 1 month over to SmackDown to fight Cody Rhodes for the World Championship. Like, you're ready. This is your opportunity. You beat the big dog. Go out there and get that World Championship. Lose the opportunity, and then they fucking slide it in with somebody else from the group just so they can try to undermine Braun Breaker or even Bronson Reed. I don't know how long this group stays for because
Yeah.
we saw a big loss from their leader and like of course his co-leader essentially from
Yeah.
the Vision, and now we have two winners. Well, we have three winners essentially because we don't know what Brock Lesnar's kind of idea is in this group. They're going to be pushing it for him. They're going to be saying that he's probably in a vision or that his vision is he's going to win the world championship, and then I'm going to have like one of those like gifts where it's like Peter Griffin shooting himself in the two of us, and I'm like, please God, save me from this hellhole. But of course, in the end, we saw a Crimson Mask from Jey Uso. We saw LA Knight almost get cracked over the skull with a steel chair, but that resulted in Braun Breaker landing multiple brutal spears. A tsunami was landed on Jey Uso, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. The Vision takes the big win. What were your thoughts, Max, on this one?
I thought it was good enough with LA Knight being the special guest referee. It allowed for kind of basically making this a no DQ match, which it worked for me. Some people were like really harsh on it on social media. I was like, it's fine. Like for this type of match, I understood this. I felt very similar to like the way I felt about the Ricochet Gates of Agony match, which is there's clearly a team that needed the win. Like the Usos don't need to be winning over Bronson and Braun at this point. And I'm the biggest Braun Breaker fan. You'll probably meet. I just love the guy. I think he's completely the real deal. I really do think him and Seth should be the main event of WrestleMania for one of the nights. I think for this upcoming year, I think Braun being in a group more than a year, not a big fan. I think they should do this turn under a year, get him maybe win the Rumble, get to him do a match at WrestleMania. That's what I want in my dream, but who knows based on what they do with main events of WrestleMania these days. But I thought the match was fine. Braun spearing both of them through the table, I thought was really cool in the match. Bronson, Jagged Edge, Tsunami works for me. I just need Braun and Bronson to keep getting these wins. They got to win on Monday. They're getting a lot of wins lately. They're supposed to be one of the most dominant groups, if not the most dominant group in the company. So keeping these guys, I think, is great.
For sure. Corey, what were your thoughts on this tag team match?
Like you said, bloody feud, I guess you call it. They nice to see the entrance. Nice entrance they had. Really, really like that one. Let's see. It was probably because it was a five card. It was probably one of my favorites on the card, but it didn't really stand out in any way. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. I'd say it was probably an average match from them, but it was still good in my eyes for what it was and what it was supposed to do for them moving forward in this story. So I'd say good job to all of them, but it was I'd say probably like a 6 or 7 out of 10 from me.
For sure. And of course, it builds up what Braun and Bronson Reed have to be. And not only that, I wonder what goes forward because I want to see some gold around those weights. They already attacked like the SmackDown division, they already attacked the Raw division. I don't see them having like, anywhere near like, SmackDown tag team titles, not whatsoever. But I would like to see them challenge of course, Judgment Day. I would like to see them make that little challenge and push forward because for some reason, he thought it was a good idea to book like Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough as faces to defeat the New Day for the tag team championship, and they went back right to being heels. If anything, we'd just bring Braun and Bronson Reed right into that same picture and have them fight for the gold, get them some titles around the waist, especially if you want to build more of that feud in the Judgment Day where Finn loses his gold, Dominic has all the gold in the world, more tension, more hatred, between each other, and then it just culminates in that big match. I would like to see that definitely happen. Our next match for the vacant championship, for the vacant women's world championship, we had Stephanie Vaquer against Io Sky, and I was so hopeful for this match that it would happen soon, but I'm very glad that it happened here on this big stage in Indianapolis, somewhere where, of course, these two women, they deserve the opportunity to shine. I expected Stephanie Vaquer to win the Women's World Championship in Paris against, of course, Naomi. But of course, Naomi got pregnant. They had to vacate the championship, and then Adam Pearce was like, I got to think of a new match. I was like, brother, you could have set up a fatal four-way in Paris, and we would have been happy as hell for it. But instead, we got that build, we got that way. Even though it was a weird build because there was no like contract signing when there was supposed to be a contract signing announced. They pushed Stephanie Vaquer to go to NXT for the homecoming shows. Io Sky, she's dealing with her narcissistic Oscar friend, of course, being in her head, telling her like, you can't be friends with this person, you can't be friends with that person. We're like, whoa, brother, like what's going on here? But of course, there's narcissism, there's gaslighting, there's so much going on between both their sides. They're heading into this championship match. They were still focused. They were still ready, willing, and able to kill it that tonight. And in the end, Stephanie Vaquer wins with a spiral tap. Very, very phenomenal move every single time we see it. And of course, and new Stephanie Vaquer becomes the new WWE Women's World Champion. Corey, what were your thoughts?
Absolutely incredible showing from both of these women. I knew that this match was going to be a classic when it was announced. The first time that they had an encounter with each other was the Raw after Mania, I believe, was when Stephanie Vaquer showed up on Raw and they had that like 15 to 20 minute match before the interferences. They've had two matches before this one. Both of them had outside encounters, which led to not clean finishes. So this one to go into a clean finish with Stephanie getting the W in front of her father, who got to see her wrestle. Um, Incredible, absolutely incredible. Give both of these women their flowers. Io Sky has been the best wrestler probably in the entire world in 2025 or one of in my eyes. She's incredible. Stephanie Vaquer is incredible, and I'm happy that she got the belt. I hate that it came at the expense of Trinity getting pregnant because she was having the run of her life too. But I was very, very entertained with this match and an incredible job by both women.
Of course, incredible job by both women. There was so much that was, of course, going on. Apologies, give me a second.
You
There was so much that was definitely going on with women and both sides having to get into this opportunity here to win the championship. And of course, now it's a new chapter. Now it's time for Stephanie to have herself this new, turnaround. What's going to happen next for her? Will we see, of course, Rhea Ripley into this picture, Roxanne Perez into this picture, and Neo Sky rematch. Asuka might want herself a shot at the gold. There's so much that is going to be happening. I can't wait to, of course, see more of that unfold on Monday night. It's still crazy for us to be getting these Saturday night pay-per-views essentially because now we have to wait till Sunday and then we got to wait for
and then
Monday and then now these early Monday shows are like 4 p.m., 7 p.m. just so they can be able to beat out some Monday Night Football. It's definitely, of course, a different a change of scenery at times, but of course, I can't wait to see what more happens from it. Our next matchup was a return 10 years in the making, and we finally got it. AJ Lee and CM Punk, everyone's favorite power couple in professional wrestling, fought against everyone's most hated power couple in professional wrestling, Becky Lynch and Seth freaking Rollins. I'm gonna of course give the floor to Corey to be able to give his thoughts on this. What were your thoughts on the return of AJ Lee and of course this whole exciting match?
Incredible, absolutely incredible. She looks like she never lost a step. AJ Lee came in. They made you wait for a while in this match. They made you wait for her to get in that ring for the first time in 10 years. But it was definitely worth the wait. I loved what they were doing with the back and forths. Uh, the touch you had Punk put the sharpshooter on Becky, had Becky put the sharpshooter on Punk. Uh, all this different stuff. You had Punk hit the stomp on Seth. You had AJ hit the stomp on Seth. A lot of good action in this match. You had Becky throw AJ onto Seth and Punk, breaking the announce table, putting them through it. And of course, you had the ending of the match. You had AJ Lee reverse the manhandle slam into the Black Widow and got Becky to tap out. Um, Incredible showing from all four of them in this match. The women were the best part of this show. Between the third and the fourth match, the women involved were the best part of Wrestlepalooza. And I think that because she made Becky Lynch tap out, I think AJ Lee should be next in line for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
For sure, definitely next in line for the women's world champion, sorry, women's intercontinental championship. AJ Lee should definitely be next in line. I loved just the way that the match played out. Every time trying to lock in that Black Widow over and over again until she finally locked it in and got the submission. Everyone got a piece of action. Everyone got hit with something. The sharpshooter on Becky, the curb stomp on Seth, and the slip ups, all the things that happened throughout the match. It had the feel of a main event, and I was very shocked that it definitely wasn't the main event. But I know that they want to keep the world championship title, in the big picture. Everybody, of course, seeing you know, what Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre can do in that big main event. But Corey, sorry, Mac, what were your thoughts on this matchup between the power couple of pro wrestling?
I really enjoyed it. I thought that the beginning was very slow because they were really milking AJ not being in the match and making, Seth versus Punk kind of the majority of the match. But as things went on, I thought the match was very strong. I thought AJ looked good. I thought it was a good match to knock off basically 10 years of ring rust. And I thought she looked very good for someone who hasn't wrestled in a match like that a very long time. The spot at the end was clunky in a good way, where Becky shoves AJ into Seth and Punk. That was a really cool spot, setting up the finish. So I really enjoyed that. I actually kind of think Becky should beat AJ when they get to this one-on-one WIC title, and maybe keep AJ in these big feuds if it's like Roxanne or Bailey or something like that in the title picture. And maybe Becky put over a younger star in for the Intercontinental title. But Becky, by the way, selling afterwards where like the camera, like, I'm so embarrassed, get out of here with like the camera. I know Becky gets a lot of heat online because she plays her character to what people think who she is in real life. She is so good in this role, and she feels very comfortable in any of these type of situations. And I know Seth's always very good, Punk, but I think Becky doesn't get even more credit than she deserved. I think she's really good for the spot and a perfect person to work alongside AJ for this feud.
And for sure, for sure. I love what she's been able to do. Her heel run has been great. Her music change, of course, it definitely helped out a lot. It's so good. Like you listen more and more to the songs, and it's an emotionally ego-driven song in such a good way because really, like the lyrics speak very loud to what she is all about. She's not going back to the bottom. She's never gonna go back down to the bottom. She's been placed number one in so many lists of greatest of all time. She's using every single one of them, whether it's Sports Illustrated or it's even Yahoo Sports. Even Uncrowned could make a list tomorrow, and she'll be like, "You see, they rated me number one." So like, and no matter what, Becky's done such an incredible, fantastic job. Props to her for this entire feud. The way that she handled smacking Punk in the very beginning, people were like, "Oh, that looked so weak. That looked so wrong." And then once Punk said tremendous and then pushed for for AJ, immediately everybody tuned in for Friday Night SmackDown. And why? Because of Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has been a big, big key factor in this whole feud. Yeah, CM Punk and Seth Rollins can feud with each other for years, but you get Becky involved, and that lures AJ Lee right back in, and that was just so perfect to see from them. I cannot wait to see what happens in the future. One match I would like to see on Monday Raw, just because like maybe we can see AJ in action. AJ and Rhea against Roxanne and Raquel. I would love to see a
Yeah.
match like that happen on a main event of Monday Night Raw, especially Roxanne getting that dream match against AJ Lee, whether it's in a tag team match or it's a singles action. I think a tag team match helps so much, and it definitely allows everybody to have a good job working each other. But heading on from this co-main event, the return of AJ Lee was a success, thankfully. Heading into this main event, Cody Rhodes returned about last week. Finally came back after getting his head taken off, filming for Street Fighter. His, of course, welcoming a new child, into, of course, him and Brandy's life. And so we see him and Drew McIntyre in this very, very bitter feud where the World Heavyweight Championship is on the line, where the World Undisputed Championship is on the line. I'm gonna still go with the Undisputed, tagline because it's so fucking sick. You can't get rid of it. But of course, we see these two just kill it, just go back and forth. Alabama slams, the table exploding. Just so many moments in this match where we knew what we were gonna get. You watch these two in a live event, you're like, man, I can't wait for these two to finally go in a pay-per-view and actually go one-on-one with each other. Same story was told like earlier this year with Gunther and CM Punk. Every time they fought in like Chicago, New York, Austria, everyone was like, when are they gonna fight on a pay-per-view? We got them at SummerSlam, 5-star match from them. So of course, we're always gonna see these matches teased on the live events, but then when it finally comes into fruition, it's the best thing to see. Especially from two guys who, of course, know how to work each other and know how to make any match look like gold between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Um, Corey, what were your thoughts on this main event? And of course, Cody Rhodes retaining the World Championship.
The match was, in my eyes, lackluster to what you would think you would get out of the two of these guys. Although Cody Rhodes was selling the effects of getting his head taken off by Drew McIntyre a month ago to go and film Street Fighter, uh, it it was very lackluster to me. There was nothing really big in this match. Drew McIntyre went for it again and pretty much ran himself into the table this time, messing up his leg, leading to Cody Rhodes getting the W and retaining. I didn't see Cody Rhodes losing this match. It was his first title defense since getting the title back. WWE doesn't like to do that so early. The champion gets the title and then they lose in their first title defense. In my eyes, I think Cody's probably going to hold it until Mania season again, but we'll see what happens. But this match was lackluster to me. I don't understand why they had it be the main event if nothing happened. It stinks because the mixed tag match should have main evented if that was the case. If there was nothing, if we weren't getting any story progression or nobody was getting involved or nobody was showing up after the match, I don't understand why the match main evented. I saw Fightful report in their scoops thread about it, saying that they wanted kind of like a superhero ending, with Cody standing tall for this match, I guess. So, but it still doesn't make sense to me. If it was just going to be a normal match with Cody retaining, there was no point in it main eventing the first ever show on ESPN.
I completely agree with you because the big match that got booked out of this before Cody and Drew even got put on ink was of course AJ and Punk against Seth and Becky. That was the big match everybody was looking forward to. That was the big reason why people pushed for this. Nobody cared about John and Brock because we felt like we knew what was going to be the ending, and then it turns out to be a lackluster opener, and then the main event where we're like, okay. It, and for Triple H yesterday to go and say, you never know what to expect from these events. So many surprises are going to be packed into this show. And we're like, okay, what's the surprise? And the only surprise was Paul Heyman aligning himself with Brock Lesnar. Like that was it. Like that doesn't lure people in and be like, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens next. We've seen this story happen before. Like Paul Heyman's gonna be with It's gonna cause tension between him and Seth Rollins. That whole feud is gonna like start combusting from the inside. No one knows where they're supposed to go because you look at Braun Breaker. You got a similar name to Brock Lesnar, pal. They really built you around this whole like you're a genetic freak, you're an ass kicker, and that you can take out anybody. And I feel like it would have been perfect for Braun Breaker to be in a situation where he's like, nah, you cleaner, I got this, and go and kill Brock Lesnar. But they're not gonna set that up. I feel like that's a WrestleMania match that you could easily book to where Braun Breaker kills Brock Lesnar, kills the Beast Slayer, kills him off once and for all and everything, and then you move on with him going for the World Championship. But it feels like this pay-per-view was built up to be this big old palooza of wrestling that you guys have to pay an extra $30 or so to be able to watch this event on ESPN Unlimited bundle, and you're not gonna want to miss this. And for 5 matches, I could have watched AEW All Out. I could have seen what happened for the WWE Wrestlepalooza, and I'd be like, oh, I'm happy for Stephanie and Io, and I'm very happy for, of course, AJ and Becky to get that big moment in that ring. Finally, like, of course, more spotlight on the women, but the spotlight on the women should have been, of course, a main event spot to be able to get AJ that big win in front of the entire world, everyone waiting for it. Because really, those tickets, a freaking bazillion of them got bought because of the fact that AJ Lee was going to be there. So many, daughters, there's so many girl dads, of course, were immediately like, I gotta go to this event. I have so many friends who traveled from Ohio, who traveled from Texas, who traveled from New York, all the way to Indianapolis. Who the fuck wants to go to Indianapolis? All due respect to Indianapolis, but like I heard you can be able to go to an Indiana Pacers game for $12. That's a great price, but that kind of shows just how kind of the franchise is. No one's paying attention to that. Tyrese Halliburton's a GOAT. He made it to NBA Finals, but those $12 tickets are definitely showing like, hey man, we don't have much people coming in here, so we might as well make the tickets whatever price. We could make it a Big Mac meal. But that's the thing. So many people traveled to Indianapolis to be able to go and see AJ Lee, see her in action, see Becky in action, see Stephanie in action, see Io in action, see these women in action. They didn't care about the opener. We were forced to watch the opener basically, and then with the main event, we're like, okay, we should have gotten the mixed tag match as that main event. But instead, Cody retains. Now Cody versus Seth is on the next pay-per-view. That's mostly what I know at the moment so far from this post-media scrum. I didn't see anybody else's yapping or whatever else we're gonna get. Of course, we have to wait till Monday to see what's next between the Judgment Day because Dominic Mysterio is now being hunted by Rusev. The men's tag team championships. We don't know what's gonna go on with that. Seth Rollins has his hands full with Cody Rhodes. Brock Lesnar is looking around the bathrooms. It's just like we really don't know what the hell is going to happen next. Max, before of course we wrap things up, what were your thoughts on the main event if you have any?
Yeah, I actually agree with Corey. I thought it was fine. I just didn't feel like a main event. It felt like a match you could have seen on Raw or SmackDown. Probably could have opened the show, hot world title match, like cool. And I was just thinking the whole time, if this match is ending the show, something was going to happen. If it was like a Randy Orton like heel turn on Cody or something major to end the show, especially because they kept Cody in the ring. But the fact that it's not, the part that pulled me out of the match was honestly, and I love officials in wrestling, but it's not the referee's fault. It's just the way they book the referee in the match, where he kind of they do a spot where they throw Cody into the corner, Drew, and the ref's standing in that corner. So the ref gets out of the ring, obviously to avoid being hit, but it's like he like rolls 5 feet out of the ring, so he misses a key pinfall. And I also just didn't get why he stopped Drew doing the Claymore kick to Cody. Like it was not going to be a DQ if Drew hit the Claymore on Cody to the announce table. That's not a DQ. And Wade Barrett also kept saying, why the hell is the ref interrupting Drew right now? It's not a DQ. It did pull me out of the match, especially because Wade Barrett's yelling at the TV, saying what I'm thinking in my head. It was just a weird finish. I love Cody. I think he should be the champion still. Wasn't really denying that. Cody and Seth, sure. I do want to see some fresh blood in the world title picture, especially on SmackDown, where it's been very bleak, these title pictures on SmackDown at the moment. So again, people are mad that Cody missed 5 weeks. Roman misses time 3 months, every other, all the time. Cody can miss 5 weeks and still be champion. I was really excited for the match. I thought this would deliver. It kind of disappointed me, which was a weird way to end Wrestlepalooza.
For sure, for an extra $30, you get disappointed in the main event, and it was just like, wow, like a lackluster opener, a lackluster main event, and now we wonder what happens next, because now we're gonna have to wake up in the middle of the night or so for this Perth, Australia event, or maybe it'll be in the morning or so. Depends really on how they run this time zone. And
it depends on where you live.
Depends on where you live, really. Like West Coast, I don't really know how that's gonna affect me and everything.
West Coast, it's gonna start at 5 a.m.
Motherfucking bitches. Like, see, like, come on. And like, that's the thing too. It's in the middle of Formula One season. If anyone's a fan of Formula One, you know how much of a struggle it is to wake up in the goddamn morning to watch these races. There's a race tomorrow morning at 3 or 4 in the morning in Azerbaijan, Baku. That shit's crazy as it is. But to be able to have to wake up on a day off at 4 in the morning when you're supposed to wake up at that time to go to work and everything, not so fun. And then when you add wrestling into the midst of everything, it's like, why? What did I do to you guys? But that's the life that we live. That's the profession we're all obsessed with. But it's gonna be very exciting to see what happens going forward. Monday is gonna be very exciting for Monday Night Raw. Wednesday is gonna be very exciting for AEW Dynamite. Friday is gonna be very exciting for Friday Night SmackDown, and even in the midst of everything else, TNA, NXT, so much.
Yeah,
no mercy that's going on.
Week. Yeah, No Mercy's next Saturday.
Exactly, No Mercy is next Saturday as well. There's just so much that's going on. But of course, this has been another post show from BodySlamNet. We almost went 2 freaking hours. I told Max, I believe yesterday, I only want to go like a max of 2 hours, because if we spoke any more, I would have probably had like some red all over the walls. Like, I love professional wrestling. We watched it for 8 hours today, like more than 8 hours at least today. There was so much that went on, and there's so much sleep that people need to catch up on, especially all of us, with how much we work, how much we push ourselves to be able to get some post shows out, get the articles out, get videos out, get all the content we can for Bodyslam, whether you're Patreon, whether you're TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, articles, interviews, exclusives, anything in the world from Bodyslam. It's greatly appreciated, Corey. It's greatly appreciated, Max. And I'm very, very, of course, grateful and thankful to be part of such an amazing and incredible team as we all are. We are doing such an amazing job. It's only up from here. There's never no downfall. There's just keep going, moving and moving and moving, leveling up like with Super Mario. But of course, Max, where can they find you on your socials if they want to follow?
You can follow me at Dinnenberg Max on Twitter, at Max Dinnenberg on Instagram. Just want to promote 2 things really quick. One, I do highs and lows social media coverage for all the main shows. So for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Collision, and Dynamite, I post highs and lows. They go on Bodyslam's YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram page. So please follow Bodyslam on all of those platforms. And then also I want to promote I just started a podcast with BodySlam.net every Friday at 7 p.m. Me and my good friend Blackhawk, we are covering Japanese pro wrestling. It's called Tour of Japan. We are covering New Japan, Marigold, Noah, and Stardom every single Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. He's very passionate about Noah and Marigold, and I'm very passionate about New Japan and Stardom. So and we would text back and forth like, we should probably just create a show just talking about Japanese pro wrestling. And it did very well on Friday, so we're going to keep it going. So this Friday, we're breaking down Road to Destruction, the N1 finals, a lot of things to talk about. So please tune in on Friday here on Bodyslam, across socials and YouTube for Tour of Japan.
Definitely tune in. Show Max all the support that you possibly can on our TikTok. He does so many great videos. Like every day, like I'm on my Instagram and I see, oh, new reel from Max, new reel, highs and lows. That your reviews after you come out from the theater. There's so much work that you're doing. I don't think you get any fucking sleep, pal. So I'm like, brother, get some goddamn sleep.
Thanks.
Gotta leave. But of course, Corey, where can they find you on your socials?
They can find me at Corey_Hayes407 on Twitter and Instagram. And I think Blue Sky is similar. I think without the underscore dot blue sky or something like that. On TikTok, there's no underscore in it. And then of course you can go and follow us with the Body Slam Net across all social platforms. Our Patreon is scrolling across right now. If you want to go ahead and subscribe for exclusive news and interviews and whatnot. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to everybody at Body Slam for all the work that they've been doing recently. It's greatly appreciated, Rami, with everything that you've been doing, your articles and your interviews, Max with your shows, your highs and lows, providing all the content that you've been giving me recently. It's much appreciated. Everybody on the team, it really is appreciated more than you guys know. And to everybody who follows us and consumes all of the content that comes from Body Slam. We truly, truly appreciate all of you. And this, like we said, we're just going up from here. It's more to come.
More to come, exactly. And you can find me on my socials, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitter, at Who Else But Rami. On Patreon, you could also see that I did an interview. I have two interviews on there with Hyen, the Renaissance woman who just had a match with Marina Shafir at Defy Wrestling. Very, very good match. Of course, Kid Bandit as well. She and I had an incredible interview. She just got caught doing T-Boy Wrestling, which was in Los Angeles. Over 120 trans femme, trans masc, and non-binary wrestlers all wrestling and showing off their unique skills. Of course, it was such an amazing time, and it's always a great time to be able to be part of such an amazing team. Interviews, editorials, exclusives, news articles, anything that's possible for the group. Of course, we're pushing to be just as great as we can possibly be, and for the very best fans that we have, all the loyal, dedicated body slammers. Of course, it's very, very much appreciated. And of course, we will be here next time, for potentially the Crown Jewel Perth
Yeah.
Australia show. We'll most likely be here and everything. Cause come on, 5 in the morning, I'm already gonna be awake and everything.
Yeah, I
I'll be
want to see
watching
you,
the
Rami,
event.
on a morning post show for you. I want to see you on a morning
Yeah.
post show. We got to do
Here's
it.
the thing. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink any type of caffeine. I have ADHD. It makes me fall asleep. So I raw dog my entire life through everything. I go like last night, Anissa mentioned she was like, you work these 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. shifts and you're still able to function through the entire day. Yeah, because like all I live for is professional wrestling, and all I live for is like good music. So my ears are always covered with headphones. I'm always listening to music, and I'm always writing as much as possible or talking as much as possible about professional wrestling, something that we all love and something we've all enjoyed. 2 hours of yapping about it. So Lord knows that we've made this an entire life. But of course, thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. We will be back next month in October. Spooky season should be a lot of fun. Whether we're going through the whole month watching a bunch of horror films, or we're watching WWE, which is just like a horror film sometimes. So
Nice.
it's definitely gonna be something. Um, so I cannot wait. See you guys next time. This has been another Bodyslam Post Show. I'm your host, Rami. There's Max. There's Corey. We will most likely be here next time. But so tune in again. See you guys.
Much love, y'all.